Okay, let's talk about one of the biggest, oldest questions there is. Are you really in charge of your own life? It's a question philosophers have wrestled with forever, and today we're going to dig into a pretty startling idea that your sense of free will, well, it might just be an illusion. I mean, think about it right now. You just made a choice to be here, to watch this. Did you freely make that decision? Or was it just the next unavoidable step in a chain of events that started long, long before you were even born? Look, we all have this powerful gut feeling, right? It feels like we're in the driver's seat, making conscious choices all day long. But on the other hand, there's a whole bunch of scientific evidence that suggests that feeling might be nothing more than a story our brain tells us after it's already made the decision. All right, let's really get into this by first building the strongest possible case against free will. And this case really rests on two gigantic pillars: physics and neuroscience. So pillar number one is this idea called determinism. And the best way to think about it is to picture the entire universe as one giant cosmic domino rally. The Big Bang tipped over the very first domino, and every single thing that's happened since, every star that formed, every decision you've ever made, is just the next domino falling in a perfectly predictable, unbreakable chain. So if you buy into that, then your decision to be here right now, what you ate for breakfast this morning, all of it was essentially baked into the code of the universe billions of years ago. There's just no room for some spontaneous, free choice to just pop into existence. Now, that's a pretty mind-bending philosophical idea, right? But in the 20th century, this whole argument got way more personal because neuroscientists started developing these amazing tools that let them actually watch the brain in action. And what they found was pretty shocking. It looked like they could actually see the brain making a decision before we even knew we were making it. And this brings us to this really famous and, frankly, kind of spooky experiment, the Libet experiment. It was simple. People were told to just flick their wrist whenever they felt the urge and to watch a clock and note the exact moment they made that conscious choice. And all the while, scientists were watching their brain activity. What they saw was incredible. The results were just staggering. The brain showed a buildup of activity, this readiness potential, a full half second before the person felt the conscious will to move. Let that sink in. Your conscious decision seems to show up late to the party. It's more like a news report on what your brain has already decided to do. It's like your brain sends the command, and your conscious mind is the last one to get the memo. Now, this is the line of thinking that's really championed today by neuroscientist Robert Sapolsky. His argument is that if you trace any decision backwards, you'll find it isn't free at all. It's the product of your genes, your childhood, your culture, the sandwich you had for lunch, all of it. For Sapolsky, free will just doesn't work with what we know about biology. But hold on, don't throw in the towel on free will just yet. The case is far from closed. So now let's flip this around and explore the powerful counter-arguments, which build a defense for a kind of free will that might actually be the kind worth wanting. Remember that neat and tidy, predictable domino universe we talked about? Well, in the 20th century, physics came along and threw a giant wrench into the whole machine. It's called quantum mechanics. And it revealed that at the teeniest, tiniest level, the universe isn't a perfect clockwork machine at all. It actually seems to have true randomness and probability built right into its DNA. You know, as the MIT press reader points out, this sparked a massive debate. You had Einstein, who hated the idea, famously saying God does not play dice. But then you had Niels Bohr, who basically said, well, actually, it looks like he does. And the craziest part? To this day, physicists are still not 100% sure which one is right. So this quantum weirdness, it seems to crack the door open for free will, right? If not everything is perfectly predetermined, then maybe our choices can be something more than just another domino falling. But honestly, the most popular defense of free will totally sidesteps this entire physics debate. So, what do the pros think? The philosophers who spend their entire lives thinking about this stuff, you might be surprised. A 2009 survey found that almost 60% of them believe in something called compatibilism. They think free will and determinism can actually live together in peace. So what on earth is compatibilism? Well, they basically redefine the question. They say free will doesn't mean your choices are uncaused. It means your choices are caused by the right things, your own beliefs, your values, your desires, and not by someone, say, holding a gun to your head. As long as you're able to act on what you want, you're free, even if what you want was shaped by your entire life's history. So why does any of this matter?
I mean, is this just a fun late-night philosophical puzzle? No way. The answer to this question has massive, real-world consequences, especially when it comes to our ideas of justice and responsibility.
Our entire legal system is built on this foundation. If you're a hard determinist like Sapolsky, blaming someone for a crime makes about as much sense as blaming a domino for falling over. You might lock them up to protect people, but you can't really punish them. But if you're a compatibilist, you can hold people responsible, because their actions came from their own character. They were the ones who acted.
And this brings us to one last really provocative question. Just imagine for a second a will that was totally free. Free from your past, free from your personality, free from everything that makes you, you. A choice that just materializes out of nowhere, with no connection to your values. Would you even want that kind of freedom?
As the philosopher Peter Bierry said, that kind of absolute freedom would just be random noise. It would be meaningless. So maybe the real debate isn't about whether our will is free from cause. Maybe the real mystery is how our brain, with all its history and all its biology, creates a will that feels so completely and so uniquely ours. And that, well, that's still one of the greatest mysteries of all.